Good evening and welcome to our Year 7 workshop. So far in Year 7 we setted them after about 4 weeks, based on previous records from the primary school and our own testing. Learning lighthouse skills, which you'll learn about in a while, old-fashioned non-verbal reasoning testing, and we will look at how they're doing in the class as well. So we take common assessments during the year, so don't feel that your daughters are in a fixed place. We're in a good position here where so many of our students are very, very strong. You might find your daughter's in a lower group than you thought she would have been. That's just because our set 3s are like set 2s at other schools. Now, one thing that we do is we're going to let everybody at the workshop try this, is do a 5-minute ninja test. So here we have an example of a ninja. Now you can go to the Numeracy Ninja website and run these off yourself. Your daughter can practice these at home as well. It really is good for basic skills. So the first 2 questions, you are not allowed to write anything down apart from the answer. Column 3 is where you can actually write down whatever you wish, but no calculators. The other key thing is having fluency with times tables. Even the strongest students should be practicing their times tables as much as possible. You can go to the Times Table Rockstars website, and your daughter does have a password for that, and you can practice. If you would like to have your own password, if you get in touch with us at the school, we can give you passwords to play against your daughter as well. Now at this point, I'm hoping I can show you one of our students actually do a times table rockstar. Here we go. And in a minute there, I believe that was 113 times table answers that she's gone through. There is a big reason for this. The more fluent you are with your arithmetic and your times tables, the less working memory you're having to use when you're actually working on other types of maths. So get your daughter fluent, even if they're a top set and they think they're really good at it. Get them going so that they're scoring 100 plus. Times Table Rockstars is great. They can set up avatars and use virtual money to buy things. If you click on the link below where it says world record, I believe it's about 174 in a minute. Students have done quicker, better scores, but there's no video evidence so far. Using the basics. Well, some of these things are basics, some aren't. We've developed this website called Learning Lighthouses. We've been running Lighthouses for 4 or 5 years now, but we've extended it to be in line with the GCSE grades. It's a half-termly test, as it says. The only difference every time is we change the numbers. So I can show you the website. Here it is. If you go to the secondary student pages, or your daughter does, whichever lighthouse they're on at school, they should know. And Year 7 start on Lighthouse 2. So if we look at Lighthouse 2, what we have here is we have 6 checkpoints we use during the year for Lighthouse 2. So every half term we give them a different one chosen at random. So the only way they could cheat is to do all 6 the night before. So let's have a look at one of the checkpoints. So here's a lighthouse. Your daughter can have a go at that. They can print it off, and the answers are on the website too. So here are the answers, and they'll come up. What's a little bit more useful, because your daughter should be tracking her progress during the year, we've got videos as well. So let's say your daughter's stuck on question 5. we put on YouTube.
Learning Lighthouse 2, question 5. Finding 10%
There you go.
meeting. We've got to remember that 10% is exactly the same as 10 out of 100.
So you can watch that to your heart's content. You can rewind, and then we've actually got, you know, something that is a teacher at home. The idea is that these link to all 9 GCSE grades, and so the girls actually progress through them during their 5 years at Millay. Hopefully, by the end of year 8, the girls will have passed Lighthouse 2, Lighthouse 3, and be on Lighthouse 4, maybe completing. The ideal situation is in year 9, your daughter is up to Lighthouse 5, and that would mean that they're probably ready for the higher GCSE. This is just reiterating what I've just said. And here's a few of the lighthouses. So we start at Lighthouse 2. There is a Lighthouse 1 where we move people back to it if they actually need it. So going through these, we've got all sorts of algebra, shape and space, number. Lighthouse 3 gets a little bit more different, the same sort of skills but harder. Lighthouse 4, harder still, and then we start to change the skills a little bit as you're going through. So Lighthouse 5 is equivalent to a lot of basic skills for grade 5 GCSE, which is similar to the old grade C/grade B. So if they're doing these, I mean, simultaneous equations come in at that point on Lighthouse 5, and then they get harder, and then they start to get quite devilish. The Lighthouse 9 is a pretty stiff thing to do. There's very few girls in the school, since we brought in Lighthouse 9, have actually progressed through it. But because we're now starting in year 7 a lot better, we're thinking that more students will get through. So there's pretty much a huge amount of the GCSE that they can learn by going through these and teaching themselves. Not that that's what we're expecting. So in year 7, your daughter at the start of each module will be given an outline. Once the new VLE is working, they'll be on there as well. But we glued them into their books. And then after a module's finished, they'll have an assessment, and they'll get a feedback slip. So here's an example of a pre-module slip. Girls will grade themselves at the beginning, and then grade themselves at the end. Then we have a post-assessment slip, so it'll tell them what they've done on each question by question breakdown, and the girls can then decide what they need to work on. So at home, there are some really key websites. 2 of them we subscribe to, Haggerty Maths and My Maths. The Haggerty Maths one I'll go into a bit more depth in a minute. My Maths is about 13, 14 years old, but it's still very useful. And then there's another one that's free called Corbett Maths. There are other websites too, but these are the ones we recommend so far. And here we have Haggerty Maths. So when a student logs in, it will tell them how long they've spent on particular units, how many videos they've watched, how many questions they've seen, and then on the right hand side of this screen you'll see their donut. So the more green they've filled in, the more of the curriculum they've completed. So in year 7, your daughters are quite welcome to start on doing any sort of skill they wish. What's really nice about Haggerty Maths is it's something called a fix-up 5. When they log in, it will remember who they are, and then you can get tested on 5 questions they haven't done very well on previously. So it's quite intelligent. It will look at their scores on previous topics and then work back through them with them until they get perfection with them. Lovely quote there from David Beckham. He might not have been the most talented footballer in the world, but he worked and worked to make a real success of what he was doing. So we're talking about deliberate practice. So this is finding things you can't do, have a go at them. You have to try them. You can't just say I can't do it, but try things first. Then using the Haggerty Maths website, there are videos to watch and then there are questions to practice. And it's very, very structured so that they can work on something and just improve. If your daughters aren't getting any better at home, obviously the teacher at school is a person to see. As we said, after every assessment, there is a chance for an independent review. So they use their results slip and either go to Corbett Maths, Haggerty Maths, or My Maths. There's a 4th website there, Just Maths Online, that is very much GCSE based. but it's still a useful website that we subscribe to. But they go through, watch a video on something they weren't sure on, make notes, which is very important, and then try the exercises. Now, even though the exercise is online, they should still do the working out in their book, and then they can type in the answer into the website, and it will record their score and track their progress. So here we've got a set of things that you can actually try at home. And trying these at home, if you click on the links, you'll then be able to go through, watch a video, try a worksheet, check the answers, and then move on to the next section. If things aren't going very well at home, again, talk to a teacher about what's going on. And this is where you come in as parents. Just encourage your daughters to do the following all the time. Just try a problem. Have a go first. Don't just look at it and say, I can't do it. Get them to use their class notes. Have a look at that, or look online at another explanation. If they're not using Haggerty, they can always just go to YouTube and Google whatever is that, search what they're trying to do. Asking for help, get them to talk to you about it. Even if you don't feel that confident with maths, don't say that to them. Just say, okay, tell me what you're trying to do. What did the teacher say? Tell me why you're trying to do that. And then looking at what else they can do with it. Please, whatever you do, don't say, oh yeah, maths is really difficult, I couldn't do it. And we've got something here about growth mindsets. Now, I'm not sure that all the research actually points to growth mindsets being true, but I think being positive is a really good idea. So instead of people giving up with things, get them to use a different method or strategy. One of my favourite phrases, which isn't on here, is instead of saying, I can't do this, say, I can't do this yet. And trying to work through anything at all. There's always a way through, we believe. A lovely quote here from Haggerty, Colin Haggerty, who's in charge of the Haggerty Maths website. Don't practice until you get it wrong. Don't practice until you get it right. Practice until you can't get it wrong. So just getting it right once isn't enough. Do it more until it becomes fluent. Just like a golfer practicing his swing time and time again. And then we have extra help available in Year 7. We have a Passport to Maths support programme, which for Year 7 will start in January. And we'll take about 28 students who've been below 100 on their Key Stage 2 scores, but are also the weaker students that we have. They get 2 extra lessons a week of mathematics, where we take them out of a humanities and an MFL lesson, or languages lesson that week. And through this, the idea is that it improves their basic skills, and once they've shown that they're capable of completing the online task properly under the supervision of a teacher, and they can work on things at home, hopefully that builds their confidence. And I know other local schools have used this to great success in the past, and we're developing it this year. Extra help also that's available. Maths teachers are always around after school. Get your daughters to talk to their teacher about what they're able to get help with. There is a little bit of a caveat with that GCSE students are the priority when they come along to tutorials, but maths teachers are around every night of the week. And for our very able students, we regularly enter the United Kingdom Maths Trust competitions. There's a link there to a website where you can actually then go and have a look at what's involved. Top set students will get homework every half term on this, and it's all problem solving and applying their mathematics. Being good at these skills is really going to help your daughter get amazingly good at GCSE stuff later in 4 or 5 years' time. And it'll give them a real joy in solving things. It'll make them think outside the box. Here's a junior UKMT type question. So if you press pause now, you can have a good look at it. And if you want the answer, if you go to the UKMT website from the previous page, you'll be able to go and have a look at the answer and what to do with it. And then finally, this is a long way away, but this leads to Year 11. Currently, we study the we take the EdXL GCSE. Our schemes of work for any of the exam board, so it doesn't matter which exam board we're actually using, because our schemes of work are very solid for all of them. But the end in year 11 is 3 papers, 90 minutes each. 1 paper is non-calculator, papers 2 and 3 are calculator papers. This is the expanded GCSE that Michael Gove wanted in place, and it is now in place. 2 tiers of entry, higher, 9 to 4. 4 is the equivalent of the old C grade in the old GCSEs. And foundation, 5 to 1. 5 is a high C/low B. So again, the foundation is actually given us more than the old foundation did that stopped at a C. Here's a little slide showing you where it roughly links up. Government are now talking about strong passes and standard passes. A standard pass will allow entry to university if your daughter has maths and English at grade 4. You're able to take most sixth forms will also take grade C or a grade 4 maths and English to get in. Although if you take in an A level in a subject, you really need a 7, maybe a 6 if you're lucky. Some non-math subjects, such as sciences, you have to have a 6 in maths for them to accept you currently at Collier's. That also happens for philosophy at Collier's, but things like psychology, etc., a grade 4 will do. So, thanks for watching this. There's no review sheet for you here because you're watching this online. And the best thing you can do if you want to get in touch about anything you're worried about, the first port of call is your daughter's maths teacher. You just need to find their email address through the school. If you ask your daughter, she can get it off the maths teacher. And please get in touch with us and see how we can help. Thanks a lot for watching this, and do get in touch if there's anything else.